Enhance your experience by becoming a supporting member. Gain access to unseen videos and video requests. 3-day free trial by visiting zionmembership.com. Chosen ones, empaths, you've got to understand that this separation from you and the narcissist involved in your life is divinely orchestrated. It's sent by God, it's sent by the universe. This parasite narcissist that was involved in your life leached off you to the end of days. They knew you were the best supply they ever had. You see, they knew that you were the best supply they ever had. And people always say in the comment section, when I say that they were fed a delusion from God or from the universe, people always disagree with that. But the fact of the matter is, God stood by and allowed them to get delusional. The universe stood by and allowed them to get delusional. And what I mean by that is, if you go back to the early encounters of you and the narcissist involved in your life, and they were love bombing you and manipulating you, and they were showing you the mask, basically what was occurring, they wasn't showing you their true nature, right? And they could have kept up that facade, but they couldn't keep up that facade, you see? Something caused them to get an inflated sense of self, to think that they can do better, or to get such an inflated sense of self that they believed that they could do better without you, or they could go on with the life better without you. You see, they knew at the very beginning that you were something different. They knew you were cut from a different cloth. They knew you were totally different to anything they had experienced. And that's why I say that God allowed them to become delusional, right? Because it was all preparation for the appointed time of when God was going to divinely intervene, or the universe was going to divinely intervene and cause the separation between yourselves. And that's why, you know, whether you were discarded, reverse discarded, or you were even the one that cut them off because they become too toxic, at first the narcissist may act like they don't care. They may just rush off with new supplies, you know, and you're left scratching your head thinking, how does someone that built a relationship with you just rush off with new supplies like that? And that comes down to the allowing of them becoming delusional. So I thought I'd clarify that, because that's what I mean. They were allowed, it was willed for them to become delusional, for them to be ungrateful, for them to be selfish, for them not to appreciate you to the fullest extent. They wasn't doing that, right? And all of this mistreatment towards you, God was witnessing it, the universe was witnessing it, whether it was psychological abuse, physical abuse. And eventually God intervened at a point in time. Now, you may say to yourself, why didn't it happen earlier? Why didn't you separate earlier? You wish you didn't waste so much time with them, or something like that. But the fact of the matter is, you can't really guess about the unknown, right? If that did end prematurely, right? For example, if it did end prematurely with you and this narcissist involved in your life, you may have had remorse or regret. Or if you did walk out of that door one day, you may have been remorseful or regretful. So that's why it's divinely orchestrated to happen at the perfect timing. Plus, the gradual awakening process that you need to go through as an empath and a chosen one. God can't just give you an immediate download of loads of information. You know, it's going to be too much for you to understand and digest. So it's a gradual awakening that happens through the course of time for you to get to an understanding that this person is a parasite, that this person is evil, that this person is nasty, that, you know, is a gradual awakening process that needs to take place for you to fully digest that information, you know? Because let's face it, at the beginning, they were given off to soulmate effect. And that's why I say it doesn't just have to be romantic relationships here. This could be friendships, for example. They give off that soulmate effect. And that's at the basis of, from my analysis, I think that the two souls, they don't really have a soul, but the empath or chosen one and the narcissist being aligned together is actually partly on one side, from your side of things, is for you to learn about these types of individuals that exist in the world. And from their side of things, it's their last chance of hope, you know? You're the best supplier they're ever going to have, right? You're the best supplier they're ever going to have. And this is what I'm trying to break down here. It's God allowed them to become delusional, to get an inflated sense of self, to become selfish, to be ungrateful. Allowed them to go down that path, because then they lose the best thing they ever had, you know? And if you've witnessed them go off with a new supply, don't worry, let them go. They will realize at a point in time. They will realize, you know? They rush out there with the inflated sense of self, with the ingratitude, with the selfish nature that they are. And they get so delusional, they believe that they deserve the type of treatment that you gave them with your authentic, transparent, loving, kind, pure self. They think they can get that anywhere they go. And the fact of the matter is they don't. They run into toxic individuals. They run into creatures that are just like themselves, right? So you've got to understand that this relationship was not meant to last. It was for a specific time period appointed and decreed by God or the universe for a specific time period. And if you can break from the mindset of all of the pain, I'm not disputing the pain that you've gone through and the hurt. I'm not justifying it at all. But there are some jewels for you to extract, you know, for where you go forward in your life, for where you go on to now, you know. The experience will mold you and shape you, you know, to become more resilient, to become more have more discernment, you know. And this needed to happen. They needed to be selfish. They needed to be delusional. They needed to be ungrateful for the separation to take place, because they would have stuck to you like glue, you know. And if you had this oppressive force of the narcissist that was constantly around you, stuck to you like glue, wasn't delusional, wasn't selfish, didn't get an inflated sense of self, they would have held tightly to you, and that would have hindered the gradual process of awakening that occurs with you. But because God allowed them to become like this, right? It's very intricate, but because God allowed them to become in this state of being delusional, this gave you the opportunity to break free, regardless if you were discarded, reverse discarded, or you cut them off because they become too toxic. Narcissists are only going to realize what they lost after it's gone. Absence, separation, distance makes the heart grow fonder. And the longer that they're without you, then they'll start to realize. That's when the narcissist involved in your life will start to realize. You know? But when you're there, if you're in their face, they don't appreciate you. And it's willed. It's meant to be that way. You know? You don't want them to truly see the treasure you are, because I don't think you would have ever got out of it. You know? So letting them go, however it ended, reverse discard, or you cut them off because it become too toxic, let them go, you know. That's when they'll finally realize what they lost. And they will realize, because they run into toxic individuals, they compare, they're accustomed to the way you used to treat them. So they run into problems in their future by losing you. But you'll go on to better things, you know? And there's someone the narcissist really doesn't want to enter your life. And you can find out more about that now by clicking this video here. So anyway, I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.